Okay, let's get the stream going. 1, 2, 3. There we go. There we go. Um, um, do that, and then that. Okay. Hello, Yvonne. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, I agree completely with all sentiments. Ready to just go?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
get the show on the road because I can't be. We got to do this too sweet.
You have a hard stop? Tell me when it is, so
I
I'll
mean, I don't have a hard stop, but I
other
got a
shit to
lot
do.
of shit to prepare because I got to fly out of town again tomorrow.
Okay, understood. Here we go. Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner for Saturday, November 1st, 2025. It's just after 16 UTC as we're starting to record. I'm Sam Enter. Yvonne Bo is here. Hello, Yvonne.
Hello. This is the first podcast of Sam being a free man.
So I guess for those who don't know, I guess I'll start out my butt first. So here's our schedule. The butt first is the non-newsy stuff, and then we'll talk about news stuff.
This is
Yvonne and
kind
I
of
usually have
newsy,
well, okay,
honestly.
news, but it's like not like
I mean, you
world
are
news.
no.
Well, no,
You were a
I was a
tiny
part of
part.
a news event.
Yes, you were. This time, you were actually part of a news event.
That's right. I was in China with Donald Trump,
Oh,
and
yes, of
I
course.
I
And
I, I, I helped out with that whole. I made
so
peace
you
with
made
like
the
Cambodia
soybean.
and Thailand or something.
You made the soybean deal.
Yes, that was me. That China is now buying 11 soybeans from the United States, as the Onion reported.
11.
11.
So that's the number that you negotiated. 11.
That's the
Just
number.
11.
11
I thought they were
soybeans.
so okay. Well, that tracks because Trump reported that it was like millions, but as usual with him, so it's an exaggerated number. The number you negotiated was 11.
11. Now that was according to the Onion, of course, and you know
I did not
what a
see the
kind of a
Onion
news source
report.
there are.
Well, I mean, lately, honestly, the reality is you can't tell the difference between the Onion and real news. So I mean, it when the Onion really has to work so hard to be fake. I mean, they really struggle at this moment in time in history to
Yes.
actually.
So anyway, no, my real news, and I will continue for 85 more days or so to not explicitly say the name here because that's how long until ties are officially broken. But a major tech company had a large round of layoffs this week, and I was one of them.
Yeah, the
Um,
worst thing is that I get the news. I see that because the news came out the day before. And, you know, I see the news, and the first thing is like, oh, shit, man. No, come on. Not going to be this time. And then the next morning, yep.
well, and look, you know, Yvonne shared the article on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack that my company was about to have another really large round of layoffs. So far, only half of what is rumored has happened. So I'm keep assuming there's going to be a second drop
Oh,
soon.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
but yeah, my immediate response was essentially I would be absolutely shocked if I was not included. I haven't talked a lot about what's been going on at work for obvious reasons here on the podcast. But basically, for the last few years, it's been clear I was not a great fit for where I was. Well, let's be honest. There have been ups and downs. There have been ups and downs.
I don't even think. Listen, a great fit for where you've been. I think.
No,
Look,
I'm talking very narrow organizationally. The projects I have actually been assigned to. So recapping the last couple years, I was on a project for a while that to me was from nearly the beginning clear that it was doomed. Okay, it was an experiment. It was something they were trying to do, but it was clear to me it wasn't working. And at
but
first,
again, this is not has nothing to do with fit with you. That's just
no, wait. Let me finish. So at first, I had something very narrowly tailored that was in the realm of like things I knew, things I had expertise in, things I was doing, and I made that happen. But then after that was done, there was clearly a what do we do with Sam now kind of thing going on, like to try to fit me into other things that were happening in the project that were less good fits, and that increased over time, and over the last 3 months specifically, I was actually it was so clear that I made no sense in the team that I was actually organizationally part of, that another team where the manager was someone I knew pretty well, um, was borrowing me to do some stuff. And that was for the first time in a while, I was actually having some fun, but that manager had no official headcount to keep me permanently, etc. So like, and even there,
but
what
let
I
me
was
okay,
let me finish a few more seconds, and then you can tell me all the stuff. But like, and even there, like, the stuff I was doing was clearly sort of like, okay, if no one was doing this, they could get by. And so when when it came up, it was like, okay, clearly, like, if they were going to make a list, I'm in the, okay, it's nice to have him doing the stuff he's doing, but we don't need it. We can do without.
Okay,
And so I
let
was like,
let me.
okay, I'll be
Okay,
on the list.
all right. This is but my whole thing is that my entire disagreement with you were, well, it's just that I wasn't a good fit for what. No, no. Listen, they were doing this on purpose. Okay, it's not.
Been,
This is not. They could have given you other stuff to do. That this is, the company is so large that I am sure that there are many other fucking places where they could have used your skills and knowledge. But they just didn't want to.
If you look at it from a high enough up level, sure. My sort of like immediate managers had nothing to do with, but could they have worked to find something else? Yes. But I mean, their approach to that is you go look. And I poked around looking and didn't find anything.
But listen, but let's be clear. Listen, I'm sorry, but let's be clear about this. The company had been trying.
The company was very much trying to shed people in various
exactly.
ways.
Listen, this was the reason why they weren't finding. The reason why they weren't trying to position you somewhere else is because they wanted to get rid of people. They were actively doing shit so people would quit. I mean, literally. I mean, for an extended period of time right now. It was first, look, they had laid off some people. I read about somebody, okay?
Let me just say one thing. I believe that is true on the higher levels. If you look really short term at my immediate management, I would say less so. Like my skip level, not my immediate somebody, is somebody I worked with for many, many years, have a good relationship with them, etc. And I don't think they were explicitly, hey, let's figure out how to get rid of Sam. But the overall incentives of the whole company right now are slim down, get rid of people.
Let me put it to you this way, another way, because I've dealt with this before. Look, the guys who were in your direct management, okay, I'm sure that they, as happened to me before, they were wise to the fact that they were going to demand that they fire some people.
Oh, okay? Yes.
And so what they decided to do is at some point
public about it. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say his name. Beep. was
Okay, yeah, yeah.
was
So,
yeah.
I mean, they were actively. So I still remember a few years ago where I was in that situation on a couple of occasions. Where look, I had some people that were really bad performers. Okay, now I held on to them for a little bit.
Right.
Now, why? Because when they asked for people that I already had, who the hell
You
I'm gonna
could use
go
them
with?
that yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so whomever was at your direct management level had made the decision. Now, you know what? Listen, they're gonna ask me some people. I'm not gonna fuck this shit. I've got this guy marked to when they ask me, oh, here you go, here he is, head on a platter. Here you go, done.
I hear you. I hear you. But so
But my whole thing is, look, you had spent almost 20 years at this
almost
fucking company.
it will it officially my end date is not till the end of January. So I will make 20 years. My 20-year anniversary is January 11th.
And the when I have been going through these things, usually it's because our profits are falling, we're getting squeezed, we've got costs, shit, sales are not going well or
You save more
whatever.
money getting rid of the old timers.
But even then, you know what? We never really targeted like uh we never really like I didn't, we didn't look through the salaries and like say, oh, this
Right.
guy's too
Yeah.
expensive. Um, but I do think that given the recent trends in Silicon Valley, and I'd shared this thing where they were talking about how some people at high level executives who keep saying, well, Silicon Valley's too young, so they're spending $150,000 on like cosmetic surgery to make themselves look 20 years younger, and how
Uh-huh.
they for some reason shun older people. They listen, a lot of these people have the mentality right now that why do I want this older, more expensive guy when I can get four younger, cheaper guys? um and that's a thought. I the other day was reading a couple of articles related around this, and the one thing that I realize is the stupidity of this
You are
whole
reading
fucking
it,
thing.
Yvonne. You were reading it as you were dyeing your hair and beard and putting
Yeah,
on like face cream
of course,
and
yes. As you can see, my beard is so dyed at this moment. Um, you
it,
know,
it it's white for people who
it's
can't
it's
see
it's
it.
it's
So
perfect.
is mine.
It's perfectly white. Uh, so I was reading about this. The one thing that I keep stumbling into this just stupidity about this is that uh, look, one of the things that I know that myself personally bring to the table as having done 20 years of 30 years of a whole bunch of this shit and not being that slow yet, thank God, is that, you know what? I've already done a whole bunch of this shit, and I already know how not to how to do it right and not wrong. And so I see so many young people that come into our organization that just have no idea and just keep doing it wrong. And I'm just like, okay, fine. Listen, you want to pay for somebody to spin their wheels for 5 days to figure out the wrong way, while I usually in a few hours do it the right way. Okay, go ahead. Just because the guy is cheap. But you know what? You're just replacing volume for knowledge, for experience, okay? And I hate to break it to people like right now when they talk about older and younger people right now. I put I
Are
will
you about to start slagging on the young people? How
no, no,
they're
no, 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 no. I'm going to talk about a difference that there is right now between then and now. When I came into corporate America, a lot of the executives that were older than us were not raised with computing.
mm,
So when I would go in and do a task, say, and I had to use these new computer tools and whatever right now, boom, 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 I could get to do it. They had no idea how to do it. The executives had no clue. They looked at us like we were space aliens. They're like, "How the hell did you do any of this shit?"
I vaguely remember those days. Yes.
And we were like space aliens. Okay, how the fuck could you know all this shit? Here's the reality. I'm still like at my older than even a lot of those executives. And I'm explaining to fucking younger people coming in right now how the fuck to do a PDF, how the fuck to do this, how do you send this document. I'm like, Jesus Christ, don't you guys know how to do anything? Okay, because they come from a different spectrum on computing where it's like all they do to everything on a fucking phone. So they don't know how to fucking use a computer in a lot of cases. I mean, they because, well, they just spent their whole time on the phone. Oh, so you don't actually know how to use your fucking computer. You don't actually know how to go on an application and actually pull a CRM report or like do this thing, a transaction online. Where I literally spent, Sam, the last couple of months explaining to people how to do some kind of transaction where you have to fill out a portal and submit information.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. They're like sitting there and they are baffled by a transaction portal. Okay?
I have definitely heard this report from more people than you in terms of younger folks being, whizzes with the phone.
Right.
But, if you put them in front of an actual old-fashioned, actual full-fledged computer, there are lots of tasks they just don't know how to do because they've never actually been confronted with them. They've never had to.
They never had to.
And in some cases you can say, well, fast forward another 10 years, they won't need to. Like, these are obsolete, dying skills. But maybe not.
Maybe.
But at the same time, it is a gap for some people right now.
For a large group of people, Sam, it's not that small. I thought at first it was a smaller group. Sam, all my nephews who went to university, highly educated people, 20s and 30s, none of them could navigate a fucking government portal. Not one of them! To upload a whole bunch of documents, to submit a fucking application for citizenship. And yes, if any of you are listening, you guys, for the love of God, Jesus Christ, none of you could do it without me telling you, for real.
Just imagine if you had to do it all on paper.
Holy shit, they would have died. They would have just, yeah.
Okay, back to me.
But my point is that, yeah, listen, there is I do see a dichotomy in the economy. I do see companies that do value your skills, but it is definitely evident that your CEO really, really, really hates tenured employees.
I mean,
he has it in for people that have been there a long time. They're expensive, old. The culture.
The culture. Yeah.
The culture. Well, it's not about profits. No, yeah, we were making tons of money. We didn't need it. It's just we needed to fix the culture.
Well, look, there. If anything, I think actual culture stuff, since our current CEO took over for the last one, has declined significantly.
Yes.
Now, he blames it all on COVID, right?
Bullshit.
And work from home.
No, it's him.
It's him.
It's him.
And there are just all kinds of things in terms of what's the priority, what things are emphasized, what things are less emphasized. Since that switchover, there has been a change of tone that is quite noticeable in all sorts of things from top to bottom, I think. Now, is this common when you go from a founder to the first person after the founder? It kind of is. It's happened in a bunch of companies.
Well, it's a change. Well, I mean, look, people at well, we can talk about that company by name, Microsoft, for example. Okay, yes. Have said that also about the current CEO going from Ballmer to Satya. That a number of that actually for all the Ballmer was a psychopath to a certain extent about certain things, but he really was, like, in terms of like treatment of employees was better. Way better. And that also, I think there is this thing, and I know that the one guy who the last couple of years definitely everybody took as an example was Elon, who went and basically started treating employees like dirt. And it's like because he, even though you could look, you could take a look at the empirical metrics and you can see that his companies haven't actually done that well during that time period, the ones that he's running where he's treating employees like shit. Everybody took that as an example because he's rich and
Hmm.
famous. That's it. And so a lot of people just jumped on that bandwagon of, hey, let's treat employees like shit.
Yeah, and look, there there was a lot of trying to rein back in control after
Yes.
work from home,
Yes.
because after
But it's
COVID,
just a
with
power play. It wasn't
it,
about profits. It wasn't
it
about performance. It wasn't about any of it. This is the thing. This is all about power.
yeah, and getting things back to what people were used to. I think, like,
Make
in a
America
lot of
great
ways.
again.
I guess so. I mean, the one thing all that work from home proved to a lot of employees like me is how much better quality of life could be, and you could still get most of the shit done. Now, if you do a trade off, are there some things that are better in person? I'm sure there's some things that are better in person. I know there are some things that are better in person, but you can carefully trade them off. You can learn how to work in that remote environment. You can do all kinds of things to make that work, because there's balance and there's benefit. However, for a lot of companies, the effect they noticed is, hey, wait, the balance of power is shifting towards the employees. We can't have that. We
It's like
need.
it's how I used to say that some people are bosses and some people like to be bossy.
Mm,
And that's the thing. You can't be bossy if you don't have people there. And if you're a person that has trust issues, not being able to see the people, like having them there. I want that person right there, right there. See them. I want to see them at that desk. I
right.
want to see them sitting at that chair.
Well,
That, yeah.
I will say I had in at one point in our list of potential things to talk about that we never got to. This project I was working on, like, the last 2 to 3 months, for the first time in years, the other people I was dealing with on the project were actually in the same city and, in fact, the same building as I
Wow.
was. I
Wow.
actually moved into the office of one person that I was working with. And for the first time since being mandated to go back to the office, there actually was some benefit for, oh, look, the guy is sitting right there, 5 feet away. The other people I'm working with are down the hall, and I do bump into them in the hall. And yes, there were circumstances where people were talking about something, and I walk past in the hall, and I'm like, oh, I should be part of this conversation. And I just stop. So, look, there are benefits in certain circumstances. And, for the first few years of mandated return to the office, everybody I was working with was somewhere else, including the
Right.
people I was reporting to. So it's not like I saw them anyway.
Right.
But these last couple months, I was like, okay, fine. This has some value because the people I'm working with are actually right here, at least a significant amount of time. And but there's still the issue of trade-offs, right? Like, I what were was there some value in those conversations? Yes. Was it worth me spending 2 hours a day in the car? I don't think so. Um, because frankly, that made me less productive during the time I was theoretically working. It honestly probably reduced the number of hours I would actually work, you know, because outside of work obligations stayed the same, you know. And so anyway, let me hit real quick, like, how I felt about all this and what I'm doing next
Yes.
for
Yes.
folks. Okay.
More important. Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, as should be clear from the conversation so far, I was not surprised. Like, if anything, I was surprised I lasted this long, um, given how I felt about things. Also, just, and I'm sure this reflected. I've been burnt out on this stuff for so long.
Look, a few times Sam had been like so burnt out, he threatened to quit. And what I said
Well,
was, listen, you
I
stupid.
never actually threatened to
You
quit.
said that you listen. You
I
said you
said I
wanted to.
wanted
You
to.
said you wanted to
Oh,
quit. And
I
my
absolutely,
statement,
I've
my
wanted to quit
retort,
for a decade.
yeah, yeah. My
Was I
retort
ever
was
actually
like,
going to do it? No.
listen, you. Yeah, well, you were tempted a couple of times, but what I said is, listen, you asshole, you will not leave that fucking company unless they give you a package. Those were my words. I'm like, you're not
Well,
going out,
or I had an offer from somewhere else at
or
the
you had
same
an
time.
offer from somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
and I was never going to leave without one of those things in reality. Like as much as I fantasized about doing it, and one of those things was going to happen. So, um, but I've been burnt out for a long time. I've been unhappy for a long time. So honestly, and like even my limited efforts to find something else, it's hard to spend a lot of time and effort doing that when you're also trying to make the current thing work
Right.
and you're spending time on that. Um, so, but immediately, like, look, it's a mix of emotions. On the one hand, of course, there's some anxiety. There's a lot of unknown, but at the same time, it feels like a huge weight off my shoulders. You know, I'm like, thank God that is over. Like I've been unhappy for a long time. I can decompress a little bit. Like, and again, the last couple months were a little bit better, but on average, I've been unhappy for a long time. Um, and you know, look, there was a decent severance. Um, it gives me some runway.
I give it credit. I'll say more than decent. It was considering how the market is. It was pretty good. They did do a good job on that side.
Basically, I have my current salary for 8 months,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah. They did do. Considering
Some of it
how
in lump sum, some of it in, I continue. I'm officially an employee till the end of January, and then I get a lump sum severance after that. And essentially, I've got 8 months of runway before I even have to start thinking about things that pull into savings or retirement or asking family for help or anything like that. I did immediately get
okay, I
offers from.
did tell you
Yes.
already that the house in Melbourne is not there anymore. Okay, all
The
right.
house that my wife and I lived in for like a year and
Yeah,
a
a
half,
little bit more. Yeah,
something like that. That we rented from Yvonne's family when we were in Florida for a little while before we got our own place, which then we had to turn around and immediately
Which
sell
was
when we
like
got
we
the
were
place.
like, I mean, at first it was free. Then we were like, I don't know, a few $100. It was stupid. We were not charging you much. We
There
actually
was a
didn't want to
nominal
charge you
fee.
any. Yeah, we didn't actually want to charge you anything. You guys like kind of like insisted.
We paid you something,
You
but
paid
yeah,
something, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I forget what it was, but you're right. You gave us a deal. It was good. Thank you very much. But
Don't
yeah,
have the
no.
house anymore. If it was there, I lived.
But yeah,
Maybe. But
like immediately after I sent out stuff to family, like a couple family members were immediately like, "Hey, we've got some stuff saved. We can help if you need it. Just let us know." And I was like, I very much appreciate that. I hope it won't be necessary. We've got some runway. But believe me, if push comes to shove and it is necessary, I'll take anything that anyone wants to offer. But we're not there yet. We got some runway, we got some time. And immediately like I'm taking a little bit of time to decompress before even really thinking of much. I mean, Brandy had knee surgery this week, you know, so she had knee surgery on the same day the announcements came out. By the way,
listen,
like
I still remember.
just to be clear on timeline, I'll notice this. Note this too. They sent out text messages at 3 a.m. saying to check your email.
Oh, that's lovely.
Uh,
At 3
um,
a.m., you motherfuckers.
at 3 a.m. They sent the text messages out at 3 a.m. saying check your mail before you go to work. Okay. And so then, and I woke up in the middle of the night, as old folks like us often do. to use the facilities. I saw the message at about 4 a.m.
And you're like, ah, shit.
Well, I was
Well,
like,
not
oh,
ah,
there.
shit. You're like, ah, damn. Well, there it
I was
is.
like, oh, there it is.
Oh,
There's
there
the
it is.
expected message.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went and checked all the messages. I read the documentation they sent us and all that kind of crap, and and then I waited, because I was like, I was really tempted to immediately send something to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack and stuff, but I'm like, no, Brandy needs to know first before I go telling anybody
That would be
else.
yes.
Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah.
So
That's the right call.
I waited for her to wake up. Then I talked to her. I did not go back to sleep after that.
I
I,
can,
I as a
yeah,
I,
understandable. Yeah,
I spent some time working on other stuff on my computer. I did some other stuff. Um, I wrote a letter to send to my family, but I waited for Brandy to wake up. Brandy was first. Second, I sent something to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack. No, first Brandy, second other family members, immediate family members, my dad, my mom, my sister, and then third was the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack. And and then as soon as all that was done, it was time to get Brandy ready to go to the hospital to get like a big chunk cut
yeah.
out of her knee. You know, um,
Well,
and
that remind a little side comment. It
your
reminds me that
surgery.
when I got fired
Yeah.
from Kodak, the
Oh yeah.
guy was
Okay.
trying to schedule a call for a date I was having my colonoscopy. And I'm like, I actually, but he just asked for a conference call. This wasn't like an obvious thing, which is normal for him to ask for a conference call. So it wasn't like, hey, I need to have a call to you discuss something. Can you do it today? And I'm like, well, no, not today, but can we do it tomorrow? Sure. And then the next day, that was the thing. So I don't know what the
Very
hell's the
nice.
thing with the medical procedures and the thing.
Anyway, we had the surgery. Then so that took that day. Um, the next, and then I've been doing stuff like Halloween prep stuff for my son and some stuff like that because he always does. Between my wife and my son, Halloween is a very elaborate thing at our house. Um, and anyway, so like I haven't. I'm going to take some time to decompress. I'm not like going into immediate like I must be spending 6 hours a day job hunting yet. I will
Yes.
get to that point, and I won't wait that long.
Yeah, but you
But
can take a couple of weeks to chill out.
I can take some
You
time.
need it. You need it.
I'm gonna sleep in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna relax a bit. I'm gonna do some stuff around the house. I mentioned in my note to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack. I want to spend some time like on some of my personal projects that haven't been getting the amount of time I wish they could get, like things that I've been maybe squeezing in an hour a week. Let's do a little bit more than that for a little bit. Um, and then, yes, I'll start earnestly trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing next. And certainly there's a lot of just traditional job hunting for, first of all the networking stuff. Yes, if you've known me in the past, you'll be getting emails from me. I'll post something new on LinkedIn within the next few days. I'll post something on Facebook within the next few days saying, hey, I was one of the people, blah, blah, blah. If you know anything, talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll be doing individual reach outs to people who seem to make sense and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I'll be doing all that kind of stuff. Yes, I'll be looking at job listings and like just I'll be much more aggressive than I have before, probably, and just applying to all kinds of shit instead of just stuff that looks like, hey, this would really be a great fit. Like I would love this. But also, I want to take some time to explore things that are further afield too. Not that I think they're necessarily the way I want to go, but I would feel bad about myself if I didn't at least like look into things that weren't like immediately obvious, like continue the same shit I've been doing,
Well, what are the things? I mean, look, if you could get paid similar to what you're getting paid right now, what you were getting paid, okay, and you got a job like when Sam worked at this place called Wabco, okay, many years ago. Well, I will say that one of the cool things about him working there was he always wound up making all sorts of experiments with big rubber things. So we had these like
Yes.
massive like one of the things that he gave me, and I wonder where the hell it is because I know I had it before. He made this huge
Rubber ball.
rubber ball that
Yep.
was made out of a super bouncy material, but it was like the size of an orange. Okay, it was just huge, and this thing had these ridiculous. I mean, the bounceability of this thing was crazy, but also at the same time, it was
It was
very
big and
heavy.
heavy.
It was big and heavy. I mean, if you threw this thing inside a room, you would destroy the room. Okay, it would cause some damage for sure. Okay, and I remember that I would go outside to show my nephews this damn ball, and on pavement, you threw that thing into the pavement, and it would bounce into the sky like crazy. But at the same time, when it hit the pavement, I mean, the pavement shook from how hard that damn thing hit. So if you could find a job that would provide that kind of environment again, but with similar pay, I would really be all for that.
Yeah, look, honestly, like in my head, my ideal world would be to figure out something to make money that does not actually involve, once again, working for a big corporate thing. But I know all the pitfalls of that. Okay, I know all the reasons that often doesn't work. I don't actually just want to drive an Uber or something, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry, but giving your driving skills, I would say that the last thing that you should be on your list is driving an Uber.
Well, I could drive the ones where you're just delivering people's dinners or something without actually
Yeah,
having passengers.
I want to see how many dinners get spilled, crushed.
Wait,
like
are you
like
not
just
supposed to do that?
yeah yeah that's
Do
part of it.
people
Yeah.
not like that?
Yeah,
Um,
dinners that get left on the roof of the car you drive off, and then that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Look, and I don't know, and at the same time, I
Paper
know
route, a paper route,
a paper route. There
a
you
paper
go.
route.
No,
Thought about that?
I also kind of feel like I know I don't have like the right mindset for a freelancer kind of thing. I don't feel like I could make that work. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to at least I want to brainstorm off the wall options and knowing 99% of them would never ever work, but just at least brainstorm a little bit about them, see if, anything can happen. Like, I don't know. I could do a food truck.
A food truck?
A
That's
food
that's the,
truck. I
okay.
told Brandy.
So
I
the
told
food
Brandy.
truck. Wait.
Yeah.
Here's the menu at the food truck is going to be popcorn. The
People like popcorn.
crescent rolls.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
What else? What else do we have? Crescent rolls, popcorn. I'm forgetting some other staple. Coke.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and
No,
Cokes. That would be the menu. Hey, crescent rolls, popcorn, Coke.
I told Brandy, like, okay, I can't do the cooking, but I could run the register. I could run the register in the food truck.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, okay, there you go. All right, that's something.
Somebody
there
else
you
will
go.
have to do the cooking part. But
I ran. Let me tell you something. I ran a register for years. I will say that for a while it was fun, but after a while it gets a little bit boring.
well, the key to make it like work better is to make sure you don't have that many customers, because then you can just do other stuff.
Well, that's true. That is the one thing that happened. Yes, but even that, I guess
Of
that
course,
back
I
when
guess
I
that
did it,
doesn't work as well for the making money part.
No, it doesn't. Okay, no, it does not. I will say that when I was when I was little and I did that at the store on Sundays, usually the crowds were pretty thin at the store. Okay, then I would do a shift at the cash register on Sundays from 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. Okay, all right,
Hmm.
on a Sunday. Tells you the kind of fun that we had at owning our own business a whole bunch of times. So I did that during the summer mostly. And the one thing that I will say is that I think given that we have more electronic devices now, it'd probably be more entertaining. Back then,
Hmm.
basically, it just meant that I was just reading a lot.
Right. Well,
just a lot of magazines. We had a big magazine
reading's not a
rack.
bad thing.
No. We had a big magazine rack and stuff. So, and then the other thing that would happen is I'd eat the inventory, which that wasn't like that really good because we had a lot of, I mean, here's the thing. Every couple of hours, I would make fresh popcorn because we had a popcorn popper, and we had, after a few hours, it wasn't. I mean, I don't want to be serving like 4-hour-old popcorn. So we ditched that. Usually it would sell out. And so, you make another batch. And the one thing is that making the batch of popcorn, the smell would actually, customers in the store, they would come, oh, that smells good. Let's go buy popcorn, right? But the thing is that also was incentive that it was very difficult. Actually, let me take the word difficult. It was impossible to be making that popcorn and not be eating some of it as you're making it when it's coming out all nice and fresh.
Right. Of course. Yeah, anyway, like, and like, I want to, like, I've mentioned on this podcast two of my, I've mentioned the Robin letter thing I want to build. I want to actually build the damn thing.
Well, but I told you, I will tell you one thing. Here is one thing, and I'm actually not, this is not a joke one, okay? Which I think that you could be working on. We've talked about doing an anti-Project 2025 platform. Look, can I just say this? Your wife is a politician, okay? I'm sorry. You should work on that. You know what? You've got the time. People haven't done that. And I think that
there are a couple people working on
who?
I don't know. I've seen some mentions, but none that
well, whatever. Okay, but you know what? Listen, you've got time on your hands. You've got tools. You can write. And you've got a wife who's a politician. Can I just say that I think that this should be a platform that a politician goes and takes up as that this is our should be our future plank to what the hell we got to do in order to knock down this bullshit in the future, and that it should have a crafted plan. And I will also mention here, as I was telling
Project 2029.
Yeah. And I will also say this, that Sam is eminently qualified for this. And this is not being joked. This is very serious. Usually I know I'm making jokes about this, but no, very seriously talking about, because Sam, as I discovered when I was in college and explained to my wife, is actually very good at fucking writing.
You've said that a number of times.
But it's true. I'm sorry, bullshit. Those people are morons. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Sam is actually very good at writing. Okay, so I know that he can structure. And by the way, not for nothing, the 20 years at that fucking company. Okay, one thing that is a skill that most people learn at that fucking company is to actually fucking write stupid fucking lengthy documents detailing shit ad nauseum.
I have done some of those, although I hated the company process for that so much, I avoided it as much as possible.
But still, you know what? You cannot avoid learning to do so anyway, because it is part of the corporate culture.
Right.
Maybe, it's one thing. That has its positives, but it has its negatives. That stupid process.
So yeah, for anybody who doesn't remember, my Robin letter idea, you can go to robinletter.com. I fleshed out like all the about page, the FAQ, all that kind of stuff. There's nothing other than that done yet, but I filled out that stuff.
Well, now you got time.
Now I got time. It's the idea is basically an alternative to the kind of social media we have right now that's algorithmically generated. That's instead a way to keep in touch with well-defined circles of people that you actually want to share personal information with, but not people you're so close with that you're communicating with them every day anyway. So like, you want to keep in touch with all your cousins, or like the circle of friends you had in college, or something like that, where it is a well-defined group of people, and it sort of is a mechanism to do that is built around. Also, you have your turn. You take turns communicating, so nobody can, like, you don't have the one loud guy who always wants to post 16 times a day dominating everything. Instead, you get to talk when it's your turn. essentially.
Well, I mean, maybe you could
That's the
restart
basic
with
idea.
okay, but you know what I would combine with a Robin letter. Okay, when I just read, I went to the page. I just sent my feedback expressing my interest.
Okay.
You know what you could combine though, which this is something Sam used to do back 20 plus years ago.
Yes.
Was that he did this email stack ranking. Okay, all right, of
Yes.
who were the
Yes, I did.
guys that
I
the most
emailed the
indirect
most. Or no, who
that
sent
no
me
no
the
no who
most
sent
emails.
you the most
Yes,
emails.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
should
so
catch up. I should I should count the last 20 years since
20
the last time I
years.
did
Yeah,
that.
but if you added that to that, you see the thing is that it would be good to be in a stack ranking to see who the guys that are interacting the most the Robin letter are. You see, I think that there should be some
The,
kind of stack ranking.
well, there should be some gamification for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Um, this is probably a V1 or V2 feature, but yes, and I want to get just the basics working. But yeah, anyway, that's the idea. Go to robinletter.com, express your interest if you're interested in, and like of all the ideas I've had, this is the one that seems like the most likely that could actually generate some income if I fully executed it. Now, do I think it could replace my actual income? Probably not, but maybe a little trickle of something that's more than the $30 a month we get from this podcast. I've had other people say, well, now you have time. Maybe you can put the time in and really take the podcast to the next level. I'm like, we've been doing this for 18 years, guys. You know, do it,
Well, but look, but to be fair, go back and on the podcast thing. Reality is that when we did do some marketing
yes.
and we
We
did
did
do
get a
some
boost,
activity, we did get a boost.
but the
There
marketing was expensive, though. Even
it
we
wasn't
spent a
that expensive.
decent penny to get a couple hundred
Yeah,
additional listeners.
actually, we got over 1,000. We gathered over 1,000 Facebook followers from that.
We still have several thousand Facebook followers.
Yeah.
The Facebook followers were cheap, but gave us no listeners. The
No, no,
one
no, no, no.
the
We did
one
get
thing
listen. No, 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 no. We did get some listeners from there. Now, probably the conversion was like
yeah,
very low,
yeah, the conversion was
but
the
but
most effective thing we did on that was when we advertised on the Overcast podcast
yeah,
player.
yeah,
That gave us an ad directly on the screen where people were searching for politics podcasts.
right.
That was the most effective. That got us a bunch of new listeners, some of which I believe are still with us today. And I believe Ed found us that way,
So we
I
didn't
believe.
kill them.
Ed, who's on our Curmudgeon Score Slack all the time.
So we didn't kill them. They're still with us today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Okay.
Indeed. No, wait. It wasn't Ed. It was Bob. Bob found us that way.
Bob.
Ed found us a different way, but it was Bob. Bob found us that way, I believe. I could be wrong. Correct us, Bob. Correct.
Well,
us,
yeah.
Bob.
Anybody correct us. I mean, we're terrible.
But yeah, but like but we spent like hundreds of dollars to get a few hundred more weekly listeners who faded out over time. For the most part. Anyway, there's things we could do. I'm doing some cross promotion with the Sir folks. I'm going to be Emily was on this podcast a couple days ago. I'm going to be on their podcast. I'm recording.
Well,
in a few days
I was going to mention that I've seen like some podcasts do a cross podcast. Okay, it's kind of like we did. We need to do a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to do some things.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yes. And my dad is chiming in with like, I have some ideas on how you can better monetize election graphs next time around. I'm like, okay.
There you go.
I think his idea, I'm guessing here, his idea is probably going to be post your updates on Substack. That's my guess as to what he's going to say.
No, that's something that you have time for as well.
But we shall see. Yeah, and that's actually one of the, okay, I mentioned Robin Letter. I've got a Juke Potter, which I mentioned on here. I've got which is to discovery of podcasts to like find long tail podcasts. I don't have a good idea of how to monetize that one though. That one's more fun, but I want to make a
idea how to monetize it. Listen, can you just at the beginning just tell people, hello, welcome to and first thing, could you just send us money, please?
Oh, there you go.
Is that a bad monetization?
I want to also make a book version of Juke Potter, and there I could get affiliate fees pretty easily if anybody bought things from there.
Ads.
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 Yes, of course, ads. You can
Well,
always do
everybody
ads.
gets ads, and I know that a lot of these people they get ads based on you know they got some kind of thing
And
where
you
they
know another thing I want to like, and I'm doing the off the wall things that would be fun to do, but probably wouldn't actually successfully make me a living. But like, I want to bring back my random vacations and do something with that. Like,
well
but
listen you talk listen
I
there's
think
a
in the
couple of,
modern
listen
day
I
for
gotta
that here
listen
in the modern day for that, instead of posting them like text and pictures, I was thinking do video, and to
Sam
save
you
money, do
you
some
literally
local
got on
ones.
NPR
I did
okay
get on. Thanks to John,
okay
who's a listener today. He's the one who sent information about me to
I mean,
NPR for that.
you literally, I mean, you know, we talk
It was
about
the Savvy
the
Traveler.
savvy traveler. You literally got on NPR based on that. Okay, so it's not like, look, we talk about a few times how we haven't done anything, whatever. Listen, the podcast got linked, and we got a lot of listeners when it was when it was like linked on Huffington Post, and so did Election Graphs as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
a few times, so we that happened. You got on NPR, okay, as well. We got that. We've had some boosts if you look at the
The long
charts over the
history.
years. We picked up some new listeners. We've done some stuff, but the reality is it hasn't been consistent. Now, also, I know that it's not like we've had a consultant come on over here and say, "Hey, how do we make this podcast more interesting?" Well, maybe you guys shouldn't be ranting for hours on end about nonsense, and the podcast shouldn't
Maybe
last
we
like
shouldn't spend
forever.
the first hour talking about Sam getting laid off.
Well, I actually think I got to be honest. I do think that this part of the show is one that actually, and I've heard a couple of people say,
Yeah,
is more
whenever
interesting than
than
a
the
lot of the
policy
other
stuff.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah, I mean we've gone back and forth over the years, and sometimes we've said, hey, let's just get right to it and jump into the news, and we've heard people be like, oh, we missed that part where you guys just talk. So
So yeah, no, this is actually a staple of our show, and it should remain that way. Otherwise, we're not. If I'm not rambling aimlessly about, I don't know, who knows what
So
the
yeah, to
hell.
be absolutely clear, I would love it if one of these random side projects I just mentioned could actually make money. I'm just not like holding my breath about that.
But I do think that part of it is that we just haven't focused on it.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
mean, look, we both have jobs, day jobs. I know that my day job really, God, I was like, like I had a friend of mine today that texted me today at 8 in the morning. And
So
I'm like,
I'll tell you one example of these things. Like a friend of mine who does who does a lot of sort of startups and small businesses. Not, and maybe I should talk to them too. But like that's an alien world for me. But in this circumstances, who the hell knows? But like they told me at one point, okay, this Robin letter thing, you get a working prototype up and running. I know all the right people that you could just sell that idea to for like a lump sum
it's
if
not
you
going to
got it
take you
up and
that
running.
long to listen. I know you, and you've got this employee there that you could like make them work on it. Okay, on the code, you could get this up and running pretty quickly. There's a prototype.
I think the biggest, like this kind of idea, like the biggest thing stopping me is the fact that is time. Now I
And
got some
now,
time.
now you got some time.
You
So I
know?
think, look, we're going to talk about specific things at first that I would say focus on. Robin letter sounds like a good thing. Okay, all right, I right do. Podcast, a promotion, expansion is some kind of plan. Sounds also like a good thing. And then after that, you start looking some work and some stuff or whatever. But I do think that those two things, like just right off the bat, and as I mentioned, the Project 2029.
Yes.
Those
Okay.
three things is a good three things, so that this way you're not shooting at every damn thing. And those are three things that you could focus on some time right now to work on that you haven't had time before. And then after a few weeks, you start hitting the job thing and get set up on that, but work on that, which is stuff that you've been wanting to spend some more
Yeah.
time on and you just haven't had the time to do.
Well, and like a few weeks ago, I talked about the huge piles of laundry waiting to be dealt with. I could do laundry.
Well, yes. Oh my God.
I could do laundry. I could clean the house. I
As
haven't
I
been able
mentioned,
to do.
Sam was talking about worst case scenarios at some point, and he was talking about, well, what if we have to sell the house and move to a cheaper place, which that's something that eventually at some point is a possibility also as well. I mean, because but what it's not, that's not a crazy thing. I mean, a lot of people at our age actually do that. Okay,
Yeah.
they go and like they lived in a house that was more expensive in an area closer to work, but then they move to a cheaper place. So that's not crazy. What I said about that was that listen, I will not miss the opportunity if Sam says that to take the opportunity to use my addictive OCD to go and like clean up that place. I will because they can't say no, and I will just take the absolute pleasure at just, oh my god, I'm gonna have a couple of trucks lined up. I'm gonna be dumping shit into trash. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna feel great doing this. This is right up my alley.
Well, Brandy and I have already talked about logistics. I've said on here before, like our garage is completely full of storage stuff, enough so that we've got a separate storage pod next to the house. And look, I've said before on here, we are, yes, we are hoarders.
Yes.
Fully admit we are hoarders, but at the same time, I know that I am mentally ready to probably get rid of 70% of the stuff in that garage.
Whoa!
The problem is
Time.
that it's all intermingled. It's not sorted in any way. Like there will be one bin that is just labeled miscellaneous crap from 1994, or whatever. and so, and the thing is, in that bin, there will be things I want to keep along with things I want to trash. So we need time to actually go through the bin. There is now time to do that. So Brandy and I have already talked about in the month of November that's coming up right now, spending more time than we have in years just pulling shit out of the garage and others. We've got several rooms inside the house that are completely full of storage too at this point. You have to sort of make your way through the halls to avoid stuff. Yes, we are hoarders. Okay, I admit it. We're hoarders, especially me, but also like the whole family.
Yeah, the two of you.
The family is neurodivergent in one way or another. There's ADHD. There's autism. There's OCD. Everything is happening here, and the house reflects it. So, but we have time now. We can go through a whole bunch of this shit and make room. And so we're going to spend some time in November. At least that's the goal right now. But anyway, I got lots of stuff to do. The way I put it, and I had like an exit conversation with my skip level, the guy I've known for 20 years, and when talking about how I'm feeling and stuff, I'm like, look, right now I'm feeling good. It's a little bit of a relief. I'm feeling optimistic about things. Talk to me in 6 months if I haven't found any money-making possibilities, and it may be a whole different story. But right now, I'm feeling good. So, with that, shall we take a break? And
let's take a break. Yes,
I think there's no need for a movie or TV. The next thing is actually a TV show. So next week, the original Twilight Zone.
Oh,
Alex and I finished watching every episode.
You watched every episode of the original Twilight Zone? Damn.
Yes.
I mean, I've watched a lot of episodes of the original Twilight Zone. I can't say that I have watched all of them, but I definitely have watched a lot of episodes of the original Twilight Zone. Absolutely.
Yes. So anyway, that's next week. We'll save it till next week. Let's take a break, and we will come back. And since basically the whole first segment was just me talking about being laid off and possibilities and all that.
Well, here's the reality. I was telling to somebody today. Yes. It's not like, I know it's a butt first.
Yes.
But it is a relevant thing that is going on right now in this fantastic Trump economy. I mean, I mean,
the same day that there were layoffs at my company, Meta was also laying people off. There've been recent layoffs at UPS. There've been recent layoffs, a whole bunch of places.
But we've got friends, people that we know. I mean, I've got
CDC, of course.
Yeah, CDC. We talked about we
federal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we have our one of our friends from Jesus Christ, from Pittsburgh, or her husband. They got laid off at CDC. And, well, actually, by the way, that layoff, I didn't realize, she didn't actually say this. There's an injunction against that layoff.
Mm.
The court did issue an injunction against them for that. So right now he's that there's been a court order that stopped that layoff from happening. So, but
Of
still,
course, there's a
but the
government
government's
shutdown, so they're
closed,
still
so,
not
so
getting
it's
paid.
not getting paid anyway. But yeah, but there was an injunction against that. So he got laid off. I got a friend of mine in Texas that also got laid off. Worked for a German company. He got laid off. I mentioned there was a friend of mine down here that he worked for, your damn company, and he basically, I mean, he was kind of forced out because they told, hey, either relocate to Brazil or you can't keep your job. I'm like,
Right.
he's like, fuck you.
Oh,
What
I
it's
do
like,
want to mention one more thing about this round of layoffs because it doesn't apply. 'Cause I've been there almost 20 years. I got a decent severance. I'm all well settled where I am. I have seen quite a few reports of the opposite situation.
oh god, yeah, I'm sure.
Someone where someone was just relocated by the company across
That's
the country,
that was
and
at
then
your company. Yes, that was
they've been
yeah.
at the job 6 months or
Months.
something, and then are laid off. They're now in the new place. They've moved. They've ripped apart their whole life. They haven't even been at the company long enough to have a performance review cycle. And okay, you're out. And the severance is nothing because they've
Right.
I mean, there is a minimum severance that they did. It's like
Well, they
4
got the
weeks or
90
something,
days, right?
they got
Because
the
that
90
everybody
days
gets the
plus
90
4
days.
weeks or something, I think is the minimum.
Yeah.
But still, like, I'm in a position where I can be like, oh, we got 8 months of runway. There are a lot of people who've been there less time who are like, I'm fucked. They
Yeah.
just completely fucked me. I just started. I moved because of them, and now I'm screwed.
Those I find that's just, I mean, those are so egregious. And by the way, when the CEO actually admits, "Oh, we didn't do it because we were short on money," it's a culture thing. I
Oh,
honestly, I wanted to punch him in the face.
And of course, a lot of people are saying this is all AI related too.
It's all actually. He also said that it wasn't AI related.
I know
either.
he did. I know he did in our case.
He flat out said so. So he said it wasn't. But here's the thing: it wasn't about money. It wasn't about AI. It was just just I actually, honestly, I wanted the stock to go up, which actually, to a certain extent, in one way, actually benefited you as
Yeah,
well.
let me say this flat out. I have left my company, but I still have a bunch of their stock in my 401k. I still have one last final stock grant coming to me in the next few weeks. I am all about their stock continuing to go up. I'm like,
Yeah, just go. Fine. Just.
I'm not like, oh man,
Crash
I'm
the
resentful.
stock. Crash the stock. No. Don't crash the stock. Fuck off. No. Not right now. No.
Exactly. Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, Yvonne will pick the newsy topics for us
Oh,
to show.
fuck
I'm
me.
done. So 3, 4, 5, 6. I always count to figure out the breaks. I should have this done in my head, but like you said, we could professionalize the show. So I would edit out where I'm like, which break will I? Fuck that. No, we'll change in other ways, but it's part of our charm, right?
It is part of the chart.
There you go. Okay. Here comes.
AlexandZoe.com. Bang Alex and Dad. Gaming videos and more from Alex. Elementary school by day. YouTube by night. AlexandZoe.com. Alexandzoe is ALEXMXELA, and .com is period and then COM.
Okay, we are back. Yvonne, where shall we start the news portion of the show?
All right. I think that the place to start is with what the heck is going on in Washington with the shutdown, with the SNAP benefits, with negotiations, with the nuclear option. I'll say it like Sam says it.
Nuclear.
Nuclear. Yes, the nuclear option. So, Sam, what's going on in Washington? Huh? So, are we getting any closer to ending the shutdown?
So maybe, maybe.
You say maybe. Okay.
Well, the reason. So let's put it this way. To start with, for most of the length of this shutdown, the politics have been aligned in such a way that it was in neither party's interest to end it. Okay. The Democrats were better off keeping it shut down because people were blaming the Republican. If you talk about it, forget for the moment, we will get back to it. Forget for the moment the people being hurt by the government being shut down.
Right.
But from a purely political point of view, people were blaming the Republicans, so it was good for the Democrats. On the other hand, on the Republican side, they couldn't believe that people weren't blaming the Democrats. Plus, a lot of the policy things they
because wait, if I understood, Mike, because Mike Johnson said that the Democrats run our government. They are the party in power. That's what he said, right? And, I mean, is that wrong?
Yeah, yes, that's wrong.
But, how the hell does that bastard have the fucking brass balls to get up there and claim that the Democrats are in charge of the government? Now, well, I say that, and I'm like, why the hell did I say that? This is the new GOP. They just say shit like this regularly that is false, and a lot of their people believe it regularly anyway, and that's why they keep saying even more egregiously fucking false shit, because their followers, so many of them, just believe it anyway.
Yeah, it works. So look, and for the Republicans as well, of course they were doing it anyway, but this shutdown made it easier. You disable more agencies, you fire more people, and also it also makes the case like the longer things stay shut and things don't fall apart, the stronger the case that we don't need that stuff anyway, right?
Look, this is the same case that all these fucking people make every time. And I'm talking about historically, I'm not just talking about the Republicans and the Democrats. I'm talking about this kind of governments across the world. Mm-hmm. The best case that I've always had, Venezuela in the early 2000s, okay? Hugo Chavez goes in, and he is demanding that the oil company deliver ever larger amounts of money, far more than the company could give, without impacting future revenues, basically impacting the company long-term structurally, where it would get damaged in the long run, where it could not sustain its level of profitability and production. The PDVSA was one of the most professionally run oil companies in the world. They had a reputation for being the most efficient oil company in the world. Okay, the number of employees per production, it was like, through the roof. The Venezuelans, the oil employees, they put it this way. Right now, I went to Guyana. I was talking about their oil exploration. There's so many Venezuelan expats over there working there. You go to Canada, you go to like the oil sands or whatever. There are large communities of those expats because those guys are so good at their job. They have been in Houston, in Canada, in everywhere where there are large projects. Those guys were highly desirable. So if Chavez said, you guys are idiots, you don't know what you're talking about, fired them all. Okay? Now, and for the first year, you see, they were all lying. You see, they're still making oil. You see, nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened. Right now, with time, because this is the thing, none of those things have an impact immediately. 20 years later now,
have we had a recurring theme on this show, Yvonne, about delayed results and how people have a really hard time understanding that an action now may have an impact 5 or 10 years down the road.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened to Venezuela, where, sure, the first couple of years, no impact. 10 years later, their oil production was down in half. Now, 20 years later, Venezuelan oil production is down like 75, 80% down from where it was. It's down so bad that they used to export distillates like gasoline, diesel, that kind of stuff. They have to import all of that. Okay? They don't even make it. They used in Venezuela, used to go to a gas station, used to pay 4 or 5 cents a gallon of fuel. 4 or 5 cents a gallon, Sam. Okay? You could go, if you took your boat and you took it to Venezuela, where I would take a boat to the Bahamas and it would cost me like $2,000 to fill up. I would fill it up in Venezuela for like $10, $20. Okay? It's ridiculous. Now they have to import fuel. Now they can't, they've lost their entire energy independence. But that was the effect of, it wasn't an immediate effect. And this is the same thing that they're doing with the federal government, okay? Yeah, you see, nothing happened right away, right? You see, nothing happened. But all of these effects, it's just, they're going to be in the future. You just don't see them like right away. And that's the thing. All these idiots all rely on that. You see right now, nothing happened, and it's only when something later in the future blows up, but that's when is going to be evident, and that's what they're relying on. That their people, but the people, like we said, that they don't understand that the causes and effects are going to be further down the road. Now, immediately right now, there is one. Listen, I will say on the opposite side, Sam. Look, as much as I know that there are certain things that they've been trying to take unilateral action, and on some of them they've been stopped. Like I talked about those layoffs, the judges stopped them on that one. The SNAP money, the judge also went and like stopped them on that one. Like right now, they said that they still have to pay SNAP. But look, let me tell you something. On some other fronts, it's actually positive. I don't know if you've noticed. Look, all these like decrees on like health policy and whatever, and all of this bullshit, where we kept getting all of this bullshit. I realized that we haven't been getting none of that destructive shit anymore because the government is shut down.
Oh, you mean like the RFK Jr.
Yes,
anti-health stuff. Yeah.
Yes. So there are a whole bunch of actions like that on the opposite side that, yes, they have been. The fact that the government is shut down is why I said a month ago, what the fuck? Just keep it shut down anyway. So there are number of destructive things that they had been doing that have been slowed down or stopped by the fact that the government is shut down right now. Yes.
Unfortunately, like the deportation and border patrol stuff isn't part of that.
This isn't part of that, but there is some stuff that has been slowed down like that. Hey, and Sam, did you hear that RFK Jr. this week? What did he say about Tylenol, Sam? What happened?
Maybe the proof isn't quite there yet. Maybe he backed off slightly from what he said before. I thought we nailed this, Yvonne. I thought we now knew exactly what this was and how to deal with it. Just keep the pregnant people from taking Tylenol, and we've eliminated the scourge from our society forever.
The scourge of people like us. Yes.
Yes. No, look. And this is where I was starting to say, like, so far the politics had been aligned, so both parties had an interest in keeping it going. As things become more painful, that starts to change. Now, you mentioned the court rulings, which I think changed things once again. Before the court ruling saying that, okay, you have to pay SNAP anyway, which there's still some stuff to play out there. But it was looking like the Republicans were actually getting very, very nervous about missing the SNAP payments. Because one thing that, look, as much as the Republicans go on about like, the welfare state and like, all of these evil brown people taking our money for food stamps they don't need and blah, 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 blah. The percentage of people using these resources on average is significantly larger in red states.
Yes, it is.
And is larger in rural areas than in urban areas.
Why is that? Why is that, Sam?
It's a complete mystery to me, Yvonne. Anyway,
it's amazing how keeping a whole entire class of people like uneducated and poor, not giving them education and not giving them any benefits, it's amazing how it just completely keeps them in a cycle of poverty, Sam. It's stunning.
Yeah, interesting. Um, so look, the the Republicans were starting to freak out that the shutdown was actually hurting their folks. I don't think we talked about it on the show. We talked about it on Slack as well. Marjorie Taylor Greene's getting freaked out that the Democrats are actually right about healthcare benefits.
Yeah, I know.
As well, because wow, this is hurting your people.
My family, literally.
In the case
Her
of
family.
MPG, yeah.
Yes.
And so I think they were getting nervous about this, and the politics was starting to change. You had Donald Trump starting to pull out the nuclear option thing, and potentially support that, which a lot of Republican leadership had rejected as no, 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 that's not a possibility. I will call out for details on this. Talking Points Memo had a good article on this published on October 31st. It's titled "Trump Wants to Abolish the Filibuster. Please Proceed, Degenerate."
Yeah.
Or degenerate. Now, this is a behind the paywall article at TPM, but for those interested, if you look for my Blue Sky account, I posted a gift link to it there. Well, I reposted. Josh Marshall, who runs Talking Point Memo, posted a gift link, and I reposted that. So you can look at his account or mine, and find a gift link to it so you can read it free. But he talks about how Democrats should actually say, bring it on.
I agree. He's right. He's right.
We've talked,
and that should be part of your platform, Sam, for Project.
Yes, killing the filibuster.
We got to kill the filibuster. To hell with this. It's got to be over.
Josh points out something we've said on this show a number of times, which is the way our government is structured right now, which a big part of it is the filibuster, has broken the connection between elections and results.
Yep.
Because and the vast majority of people don't understand how this all works. Like, most people don't even, well, hell, I get the feeling that lots of people never even had like middle school civics. But even the people who do, most of them weren't paying attention, don't remember the details. And certainly the esoteric nature of the filibuster in the Senate, something that most people don't get. And so you have, I don't get it. I voted for the Democrat for president because they said they wanted XYZ, and I didn't get it. So fuck them next time.
But could we be clear on one thing? Okay, you do realize, yes, right, that Biden, even with the filibuster, got
a lot of shit done.
Shit that he promised done.
Yes, he did. Which they still didn't get credit for. But
no.
But on a more fundamental basis, simply from a structure of government perspective, even with the structure we have, clearly elections do have consequences. You only have to look at how the last 10 months have gone to know that.
Yeah.
But if the Republicans actually were, I'm going back for, like, if they actually had free reign, they had Democrats couldn't stop them with a filibuster. Democrats couldn't stop them. Then you get what you pay for. And this goes for the Democrats if they win too.
Yeah.
You elect a party into office, and then you actually get to live under their policies, and then the next election you adapt accordingly. Now, I think the Republicans this time have been so strong, and in terms of actually implementing their agenda anyway, that you see it in the polls. You see them plummeting in all kinds of ways over the last few months because people don't actually like it.
Right.
But basically,
right now, I just checked, by the way, Silver Bulletin has Trump's net approval at its lowest since the election. He is at the lowest point.
And the Economist's average for Donald Trump approval shows that this week, for the first time ever, not only did he hit a low for this term, he hit a low for both terms. He's at the lowest he has ever been in either one of his two presidencies.
Yeah.
But hitting back to that, if you have the effect, then the elections mean more, instead of people just being cynical and saying, it doesn't matter who I vote for, nothing happens anyway, which and not understanding how things work. But and the Democrats, we talked about how Democrats should have eliminated the filibuster and done XYZ when Biden first got in. Manchin and Sinema stopped it from even being a possibility, and frankly, Biden didn't really want it either. He's a Senate institutionalist. He loved the filibuster. He wanted.
Look, he was trying to get back to normal.
He was
remember that was his plan.
Folks were trying to get back
to normal. And so he knew his thought. And listen, you can argue whether he was right or wrong about that. That's another thing. But what he wanted as his plan, okay, was, hey, I'm not going to do that because by blowing that up, then I'm making this worse, and so therefore let's not do that. And I understand his argument. I disagree. I think I disagreed with it, but I understand his argument. Okay, all right.
And the thing is here, for there will be a political hit for whoever actually eliminates the filibuster first. Now, what the Republicans have been doing, people pointed out, they've used the nuclear option twice in the last 6 months, and nobody's practically noticed. Like, because they've done it for specific things instead of just saying there is no more filibuster anymore. They've done it for specific things.
It's a filibuster.
They can do it for this specific.
It's a nuclear filibuster.
What is this? You want me to enunciate and actually speak properly? This is crazy talk here.
I know.
Oh, I've got all this time. I could take like
enunciation class. Oh my goodness.
I could go do Toastmasters.
Hey, let's not go crazy here, okay? Shall we? Okay, come on, give me a break. Okay, carry on.
No. The point is, there might be a political hit for being the first one to do this, but if the Republicans do it for you and then you take power next time, then by all means, it's done.
Do it.
Just go.
Do it.
Do all the stuff you want to do that you couldn't otherwise. But Josh Marshall points out in this article as well, he feels it's actually very unlikely, even with Donald Trump saying, just go nuclear, kill this thing and move on. There are a number of Republicans who, just like Manchin and Sinema on the Democratic side, are going to be like, no, we don't want to get rid of the filibuster. But some combination of Democrats and Republicans might be able to do it. But the Democrats aren't going to want to kill the filibuster for the Republican bill. So it's probably unlikely that it'll happen at this point. And I'll say the court saying you have to pay SNAP anyway probably diminishes. It takes this off the table for now. Trump was bringing this onto the table because this was about to start being painful for people.
But it was because he decided to do it. It's not because he had to. He was like he had been unilaterally deciding to try to stop the SNAP payments.
Well, people have also because there were all sorts of arguments that they actually could keep going anyway.
Right.
Now, what's actually happening with the legal case is Trump has filed back to the court saying, okay, you're mandating that we pay this. Tell us the right legal way to do it, because we didn't think there was one. And so they're asking the court to do that.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes. I'm sure the court will respond in an appropriate way. But I think it takes the pressure off, at least for now, because again, to end this shutdown, one or both sides, the political pressure needs to flip where they feel like they are clear. Their people are hurting, and they are hurting politically by letting it go on longer. With Donald Trump saying, let's use the nuclear option, that was like, oh, okay. If he pushes that, we could be done in days. My guess is because of the SNAP stuff, he's going to back off on that for at least a little while. But there is also an argument that he's just bored and wants to move on.
Listen. Are you kidding? Is he bored? I'm sorry. What was he posting?
Did you see the pictures of the new bathroom?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Listen, you know what the worst thing is? That I saw it before you shared it on the Slack. Yeah, and I saw it, and I'm like, nah, fuck, I'm not going to share this. Come on, man. This is such bullshit, this fucking asshole. What the hell? But Sam did share it where, Trump was obsessing this week about renovations to the Lincoln bathroom. And how what he wants to do is take it from where it looks now, which it looks period appropriate, to make it look like any generic bathroom
Well,
at
this is
some
past
kind of
tense, right?
Trump
He
hotel.
actually did this, right? This is not a plan. He actually did this.
No. I
Did
thought
he?
no, that was, I don't know. Didn't you see that he put a whole bunch of different alternative options?
Oh no. I thought it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. And my understanding is that this is in the planning stage right now, and there was
Oh, okay.
a
I thought
place
he'd
there where
already
he
done it.
showed a whole bunch of different. How about this color? How about this color? How about this color? This is what the fucking president is focusing on, a goddamn bathroom remodel. And
No,
by the way,
no. Wait. I brought up the Truth Social post. It's I renovated past tense the Lincoln bedroom. Here, are
no,
pictures of
but
the
did you see? Okay, hold on. I thought that
No. It's done.
no,
This
it
is
was renovated in 1940s Art Deco green style. I did it in black. I did it.
yes. The other one he showed was what it looked like before.
Oh fuck. Yeah, very. Yes, this looks like the 18. This looks like an 1800s bathroom.
The old one, or the new one?
The new one. I'm being sarcastic.
Oh yeah.
This looks like some fucking generic bathroom at any goddamn luxury hotel.
He says this was very appropriate for the time of Abraham Lincoln.
Uh-huh. Yeah? Sure. This is what any fucking... You go into any luxury hotel right now, and honestly, because they're all the... I mean, look, the bathrooms get kind of boring and all these... This is what they all fucking look like. If you go to a Ritz-Carlton,
Like
the Four
marble
Seasons...
everywhere.
Yeah. Or a lot of these, mansions right now that they're making.
It
all
feels
over
like
the
it would be
place.
too slippery.
Yeah, I mean, especially because he put all that marble on the fucking floor. Usually, you try to put a some kind of like tile on the floor that is like not as slippery as the fucking marble. But he won't be using the bathroom anyway.
I was about to say, hopefully he will, and a slip could happen.
Oh, please, yes. Could he just go? You know what? That would be fantastic. He goes, takes a shit. He hasn't pulled up his pants. He slides, he falls, he breaks his head open, and that's how he dies. And we get pictures of him,
oh God,
in
his new bathroom.
Yeah, in his new bathroom, dead. Perfect.
Anyway, back to the shutdown and how it's going to play out. I think the snap things buys them some more time. Unless he is just bored and wants to have it done with, which. The Republicans could end this at any time they wanted to, but I think they still have incentive to keep it open. I mean, for one, Johnson is keeping the House away until the Senate resolves it. Part of their pressure plan here is, instead of engaging in negotiations, the idea is we will keep this through until the Senate passes the bill as it was passed by the Republicans in the House on a party line, which means one of two things. Either you kill the filibuster about it, or you get a bunch of Democrats to flip and vote for it. Like, the Democrats' view is we want to propose a new bill in the Senate that reopens government, but also undoes some of the tax credit things for Obamacare that were in the big beautiful bill, which was not beautiful, but and the Republican position is we're not even going to talk. We will talk about all that stuff, but only once the government is open. Obviously,
I am showing right now, Sam, my reaction to this on video, which is I give these assholes a big fat middle finger because I don't trust them. On them, you can't just give them anything like that, right? Oh yeah, we're open. Oh, then we'll talk about it. No, a bunch of fucking liars. No, you can't trust them.
This is something that, by the way, at various points in the past, the Democrats have agreed to deals that are structured like, give us what you want. Give us no. The reopen. Put it in this context. Sorry. Reopen the government now, and we'll give you a vote on that thing you want. And it's a vote the Democrats will lose, guaranteed. And the Democrats are, okay, we'll have the vote. We've made our point. We've gotten our message across. We'll take the vote and lose, but we'll reopen the government. No, don't. You've got, this is the one piece of leverage you have right now.
Right.
You do not give in exchange for a vote
for nothing.
You know you're going to lose.
Yeah. No.
You want, if you're going to make a deal here, then it has to be, we do the thing first. We get the thing we want, and then we'll give you the thing you want.
Right.
And the thing we want is not a vote. The thing we want is the actual result.
The actual result.
Or you force them to kill the filibuster and push it through on their own terms, in which case
let them own, throwing millions of people off their health insurance, which is what they're doing effectively.
Right.
I mean, the one thing is that this is so politically suicidal for them. I don't even understand why the hell they keep insisting on it. Because it's nuts. The reality is
the latest polls have the general public blaming Republicans for this on a 2-to-1 basis.
Exactly. And if they go and get to January and tens of millions of people lose their health insurance, how's that going to turn out?
Right. And also, it's been pointed out, House comes back into session, you immediately get this one Democrat sworn in, you immediately get the Epstein vote as well.
Yep.
And which will, they just have the 218 needed for the discharge petition. But the word is that if this actually came to a vote, it would not just pass, but pass overwhelmingly on a bipartisan fashion, because Republicans don't want to put their name against this either. And so that's part of, Johnson's reason for staying away, as well as the shutdown theatrics. So we shall see. My prediction right now, government's staying shut down a while. I think we're going to beat the 35-day record.
Oh, we're fucking hell.
Honestly, I wouldn't be completely shocked if the government stays shut down straight through the midterms. Keep it shut down a year.
I don't know about
I would be a little surprised if it goes
that way. I would be. Yeah, but I would be surprised by
because pain points will start piling up over time, and at some point it will become painful enough to start greasing the wheels. We're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, Vaughn. Next topic.
Well, we don't have a lot of time for another topic. Well, what do you mean? I picked the first topic. It's your turn.
Well, yeah, I said you could have the whole second segment, since the whole first segment was about me.
Well, okay. But I said that I don't have that much.
We can wrap things up pretty soon then. We
let's
can
see.
Start
well, here's the thing. We actually, the only thing that's here that we haven't covered, that's on the list of subjects. I mean, we talking about the New York mayor race, which is not on the list, isn't. I mean, I don't know. Do we want to talk about that? What do you think? The two options here. Two options. Okay, there's this deciding to win thing, or the New York mayor election.
Well, actually, I think they're related. So we
you're right.
Together.
Okay, so let's bring them together. All right.
So first of all, Mamdani's going to win. He is so far ahead on all the polls.
Yes.
We what's his name? Jeffries finally reluctantly gave an endorsement. And it's so clear. It's like, I don't really want to do this, but I guess I will. Schumer has not.
Yeah, Schumer has not.
As of us recording, Schumer is still saying, well, I'm talking to the guy. I'm thinking about somebody's like the election's in a couple days. Right. Who are you going to vote for? And he's like, I don't know. And he walks away. Right. Look, this is just, and this ties to so deciding to win is a policy research strategy paper, whatever you want to call it, from some Democratic think tank that basically expresses the centrist Democrat view that
people have
been pushing for a long time, that it basically is, and I'll fully admit, I did not read the whole thing. There were a bunch of things going on this week. As I mentioned
You
in
were
the first
busy?
segment, there were things going on. My mind was elsewhere. I did not read the whole thing. But in summary, as I understand it, this is a recapitulation of the view that basically Democrats should take a handful of
Run to the
issues that
center.
run. It's basically run to the center, and it's also basically be poll driven. Take things that poll well, double down on them. Take things that poll less well, and ignore them. Push them to the back burner, minimize them, try not to talk about them. The end result of this is things like, the advice that keeps being given over and over and over again. Talk about, and the thing that's weird is that sometimes what people say to try to do with this stuff doesn't actually align with the polls. Like, for instance, they'll say, kitchen table issues only. Talk about the economy, talk about jobs, talk about that, but don't talk about immigration because we're weak there. Where actually the Democratic positions on immigration poll better than the Republican positions.
That's what I'm saying. This is the thing. I don't. This whole stupid playbook that they
now messaging is bad. Like, the Republicans somehow push through this is a threat and get it internalized in people's heads. But when you ask the people about specific things, like, do you think we should be deporting non-criminals who've lived here for 20 years but happen to come here illegally at the beginning? Most people say no. For instance.
listen. This whole damn thing gets back down to the policy wonky thing, where if you go down on all the Biden accomplishments in his 4 years, and you ask people, say independently, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm sure they all poll great. Did that translate into winning, Sam?
Not often. So
no, it does not. And the whole thing, it goes back down to, and I said this, and I'll say it again. The Republicans had two very vociferous messages that were bullshit, but that cut through to people. One is the threat of the trans movement is going to destroy America. The other one was, and what the other one is that the Democrats are pro-abortionists. They want more abortions.
Oh yeah, okay. And brown people are scary.
And brown people are scary. Yes.
Yes.
Those are the three things, and they have nothing to do with facts, nothing to do with anything. And the thing is that the Democrats' counter argument to those were basically to not address them.
Yes, and this ties
and people,
to
Sam. People,
yes.
listen. That trans thing. I keep being, shocked how the Democrats, especially the leadership in general, misunderstand how deep that message cut through to people, and their underlying prejudices about something they don't understand.
The thing is, though, the key approach difference I think here is important. Is Democrats, because of that, decided to just let's
avoid
be
it.
Quiet, avoid the issue.
Avoid it.
And I think the way to counter that is not avoid the issue, because that gives ground. That's like, oh, you're
accepting. Yeah, you're accepting that what their argument is true.
You're accepting their argument is true. You're accepting their framing of the issue. Instead, it has to be a vigorous defense. No, you are wrong. You are bigots. You are.
You're exaggerating this whole thing about men going and switching and women to sports. You're talking about a tiny number of people. You're talking about all this bullshit about them abusing sports is a lie. All this thing about is a lie. This entire thing that there's indoctrination of people is a lie. This whole thing that the entire thing is like.
It's not just that it's a lie. It's also you are fundamentally wrong on how you treat. Assume it was right. You need to treat these people better.
Right.
Like this is. you need to vigorously make the case for
But
your
remember,
side.
the main commercial, what they had was a guy dressed as a woman competing in women's sports. That, you see, this is the thing. You're getting back into the detail of the wonk. The thing was, they showed some fucking guy during major live TV events in the U.S. during the NFL playoffs or whatever, showing some fucking guy dressed as a woman competing in women's sports. You know what the ad right after the should have shown? This is a complete lie. This is not what's happening. This is absolutely false. And they're trying to scare you into vilifying a small, a minority of Americans right now into vilifying them over something that isn't true.
Yes, it's not true. But at the same time, like I said, you can't in any way throw these marginalized communities under the bus either. You have to show, like, you have to be like,
oh, this is a group of people that should be defended. But my point is that by staying quiet, they didn't defend them.
No,
the narrative went, and like everybody, so many people that know little on the subject, because the low information voter, all they saw is that. Right, and that's the image they got.
The counter is stick to your position and defend it vigorously, and not cower in the corners. Like, put it over and over again in the years prior to things going sideways with Donald Trump. Things were moving, like, when confronted with, like, let's look, gay marriage. At one point, like, the polling on that was people couldn't even imagine it. People started making.
By the way, can I make I want to make a point, because we've been talking about Newsom. Do you realize who the first mayor that started issuing marriage certificates to gay people was? And I did not know this until about a couple of weeks ago.
The first mayor?
Yeah. It was Gavin Newsom.
Was it Gavin Newsom? Okay, I remember.
By the way, I know, because we were talking shit about how Newsom takes the winning position. This was at a time when none of the mainstream Democrats, including Barack Obama, were for gay marriage.
Right. No, and my point, though, is that is an issue where we have moved from gay marriage being an obscure position to it having supermajority support in a very rapid period of time because of advocacy for that, because of normalization of, like, no, gay people shouldn't be ostracized and marginalized and made fun of.
Well, let's be clear about this. Project 2025 wants to abolish gay marriage too, by the way.
No, I know, absolutely. But all this happened through not, sort of public opinion naturally changed on its own. It happened because people were aggressively pushing the idea and also making sure that there was exposure. Like,
yep.
It's you make it so that people can be out and known, and that your uncle is gay, or and now, like, that you have friends and family that are trans.
Yeah.
And you want to show, like, no, what they are advocating will hurt people, and you shove that in front of people's face. Same with immigration.
Yeah.
You need to counter the brown people are scary, immigration bad, MS-13, blah 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 blah, with here's the guy who waits the tables at your favorite restaurant.
Exactly.
And I don't want to stereotype that either. There are lots of highly successful rich people as well.
No, but we're talking about the illegal, and a lot of the illegal immigrants, unfortunately, they most of them cannot get
get those kinds of jobs.
Exactly, right. Exactly, yeah. But even though they may have the skills, but when they come to the United States, many times they may be doctors, they may be nurses, they may be whatever the hell it is that you want, but they cannot get those jobs. And so they go and they have to take low-paying menial jobs in order to make ends meet, because they cannot get those more skillful jobs, even though they have the skills.
And look, after all of these deportations started happening, you start seeing all these stories of Trump supporters who are like, oh man, I voted for Trump and now they deported my wife or whatever.
Right.
These are stories that you could have dug up beforehand and been like, he's talking about deporting your wife. He's talking about deporting the
Yep.
person who, takes care of your lawn or
Yep.
helps, or whatever, all of these things. And bring it and humanize it and say, look, these are the people
It
they're
makes your
trying to
it
hurt.
makes your very tasty tacos in many cases,
Yes.
which are quite
Look,
tasty.
the point is though, on all of these, defend those positions. And getting back to Mamdani for a second, I think one of the reasons Democratic leadership is freaking out about this is that they're like, oh my God, he's a socialist. He's in front of all these things. This may work in New York, but in the rest of the country, it's going to kill us. Blah 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 blah.
He's the
Look,
mayor of New York. Okay, fuck this. He needs to.
He won the damn Democratic nomination. As a Democratic leader, you should be fucking supporting him. And
I'm sorry, but you know what? Aside from
also,
the fact
look,
that maybe he made some statements in the past of certain things that maybe I disagree with, the reality is that his positions
most
that
of
he's
those are
had for a while,
overstated anyway. But
and most of those are over. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Aside from maybe some statements in the past, the reality is that what he is advocating for the city
is all
is not
fairly
bad.
normal stuff, actually.
Yes.
But look, here's the other thing. He is young. He is charismatic. People are excited about him.
Yeah.
And you're shitting on him?
Right.
This is exactly what the party needs.
This is exactly what the party needs.
Young, charismatic people who people are excited about and who are energizing the voters. And this, again, going back to deciding to win again, deciding to win is all about this strategy that has failed multiple times over the last decade and a half.
Yeah.
Right? Which is Democrats being like, we have to figure out how to win back these voters who used to be Democratic and have moved to Donald Trump.
And actually, if you look at the result of the last election, once you got down another real detailed analysis of who showed up to vote, what did it show, Sam? Did you see? Because we shared this on the Slack. I can't remember. You shared it on the Slack. And what did it say, Sam? What was the final bottom line again?
It said the more Democratic a region, the lower the turnout.
Ah!
Yeah, and this applied all across the country. It's basically, Democrats not being excited and not turning out to vote because you're trying to message in a way, and like a lot of this, I don't want to keep going back to the last campaign, but part of this is like, okay, first Biden and then Harris were like, oh, okay, let's campaign a lot with Lynn Cheney and stuff and try to win those like never Trump Republicans and stuff like that, which, okay, you didn't get very many of those, but you did provably lose a bunch of left-leaning people who were like, I can't vote for them. They're like on the stage with Lynn Cheney.
Right.
And they're not supporting Palestine, and they're doing this.
Man, how many times did I fucking vociferously say over and over that this entire elections came down to fucking making your base show up?
Yeah. Well, and this is the one thing, like for decades and decades, on both sides, the political strategy was go for that median voter. Go for the median voter. Go for the median. Donald Trump proved that going for the base and energizing people who typically don't vote at all can win, and can win very effectively.
Yes.
And what it does, I mean, I don't want to point to Donald Trump as like a model in a lot of areas, because the base that he energized was
a fucking bunch of racist lunatics. Yes,
exactly. He got the racist lunatics to come out, but on the left, look, there are a whole bunch of people who aren't coming out because they're disillusioned and don't believe anything you say and think you're too centrist, that you could potentially get there. Now, and how far, I'm not saying the solution is move the party left, but I am saying the solution is don't actively alienate those people. Now, will
Exactly.
the result be the party does move a little bit left? Yes. And
Yes.
that's okay.
But you know what? The problem is, again, the party moving to the left, a lot of the shit that we're talking about, policy wise, is the nuance. It's nuance
Well, it's
in most
nuances, but
cases.
also people have pointed out, like, when we say move the party left, we're kind of actually saying only move it back to where it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like things are moving, like may like Democratic leadership positions at this point are often very similar to where the Republicans were 15 years ago. Not always, not always, to be clear, but like it depends on the issue. It depends on a whole bunch of stuff. But you know, there is a lot of energy potentially waiting to be activated on the left. And I think and positions aside, frankly, positions aside, you need youth, you need energy, and you
And
need
by the way, the
conviction on
Democratic
positions
voters, the
so that you
average
don't.
Democratic voter has also moved far to the left.
Yes, the average Democratic voter has moved further to the left. But I think what people are sick of overall is this sort of is the exact kind of stuff they're talking about in deciding to win, of like people triangulating and trying to pick their positions based on how they think the election result is going to go. No, you want people who have a strong feeling about their positions to start with and then work on convincing everybody else to agree with it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, and show that you really believe it and show people why you believe it and what and the benefit it'll have for them and everybody else. Like and honestly, another thing we found is a huge portion of the public can't even imagine something unless it directly affects them. So you have to
Yep.
show how this stuff affects you.
Yep.
You have to show that, like, this isn't some theoretical, we're defending the rights of somebody that you don't know and have no knowledge of, but you have to show how, like, yeah, this does affect you, this is in your neighborhood, whether you think so or not. you know Remember Uncle Jim was doing this kind of stuff, and would affect him, or yeah. And you have to break through some of this bullshit too. I mean, like on the snap conversation we were having, I've seen so many posts in social media about a bunch of people, just like the people who don't know that their local state plan is really the same as Obamacare. There are a lot of people saying, wait, what do you mean SNAP and food stamps and EBT are the same thing? What? I didn't know this would affect me. I thought this was affecting, like, the poor people in the inner cities. What do you mean this is gonna this is affecting my stuff?
Shocker. Shocking.
Um so
Shocking.
so there's definitely some communication stuff, but and a lot of, and I know it's not all about age, but the top layers, there's so many, not even boomers, but also silent generation people hanging on. It's time to let go. Let the young folks have this. Completely aside from policy issues, they understand the media environment better. They're not just like, oh, we'll buy some more TV ads. They know how to, like, work in a social media world. They know how to do this, and or at least can get the right consultants to do it for them. But many of them know how to do it themselves. And it's just like the people who are stuck in the 90s. I've seen a lot of people referring to this as actually stuck in the West Wing mindset of, like, the way the government works should be the way it worked in West Wing. In the West Wing TV show.
Yeah, it's TV show.
Not the actual West Wing. Maybe if there'd been an East Wing TV show, this wouldn't have happened.
This wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't get the East Wing abolished,
being torn down. But no. No, that's, if that ever. First of all, it wasn't how the real world worked, even in the 90s. To be clear. But it's certainly not how things work now. And it's certainly not how the political environment works now. You have to recognize that going back to the days where the two parties cooperate and Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan go have a drink afterwards. That's not the world today. Maybe someday it'll be back, but you
it's
got to move
not
on and
anytime
deal with the
soon.
world as it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
not anytime soon.
Now we can be done.
Now we can be done? Okay, well, then let's be done.
Now we can be done. So, curmudgeons-corner.com, as I mentioned last week, recently, like, stuff added, like the social media stuff moved around and made to look nicer. There's a way to order the damn mug. If you want cups, let us know. We can do more swag, but no, if you want a mug, Curmudgeon's Corner mug now available directly for purchase. Nobody's bought one since a bunch of people said they wanted mugs, and then I add it to the site, and I haven't seen any orders come in. Of course, I haven't checked my mail either. Maybe there are orders. Oops, I don't know. Let's see. Do I have any order? Let's see. Fantastic. No. Wait. I'm Sazzle Let's see. Nope. I'm just checking. Nope. Nobody has ordered one yet. You people out there who are like, I want a Curmudgeon's Corner link on the damn website so I can just buy one.
Time.
It's been a week. How long do you need? Look, I get $1 for every one of these mugs sold, and I've been laid off. buy some damn mugs.
Buy about 1,000 mugs a week. Damn it, you people! What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly. Buy some damn mugs. Anyway, we've got the link to the mug now. We've got all the ways to contact us. We've got the archive of our show. We've got transcripts. And of course, another way to give me money, we've also got the Patreon. Go to the Patreon at various levels. We'll mention you on the show. We will ring a bell. We will send you a postcard. We will send you a mug. And all that fun stuff. And importantly, at $2 a month or more, or if you just ask us, we will invite you to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, where Yvonne and I and a bunch of other folks are sharing links, talking about the news, talking about other stuff. That was the first place outside of my family you would have found out that I was laid off. You could have known already, and now you didn't know until you listened to the show, and that's on you. All kinds of stuff. So Yvonne, it's lots of fun. Please join us. Yvonne, what is a story from the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack that are going to make people want to give us millions of dollars and join the Slack?
Sam Altman wants a refund for his $50,000 Tesla Roadster deposit. Okay? So apparently, Sam Altman, back in July of 2018, placed a $50,000 deposit for a Tesla Roadster. Okay? Which, they announced that they would be coming soon. And apparently he tried to send an email recently to try to get a refund on it. And on the link that was on the deposit to try to request a refund, the email came back as undeliverable.
Okay.
And so to be clear, the Tesla Roadster 2.0 was announced in 2017. And it is 8 years later, and we haven't even seen a prototype.
Of course.
It was a $50,000 deposit on this fucking car. It wasn't like, because other cars that he's sold, you get a $2,000, a couple of thousand, whatever bucks, $50,000 deposit for this thing. And we're talking
hefty deposit.
It's a hefty deposit. And I have heard stories that there's a number of people in this, on this boat, that also gave these $50,000 deposits that they have not been refunded so far. And I wouldn't hold my breath on seeing that Sam Altman is going to get his money back anytime soon.
Yeah. So one more thing I realized I should say about the Slack, especially for new people, like, because we have had a couple new people to the Slack. you should be aware when you first join the Slack, you're put into what we call the general channel. That's where we mostly talk about news. But we also have a random channel. The place where I talked about on my layoffs was a random channel. You have to join the random channel if you wanted it. We've all so that's where we talk about all the non-newsy sort of fun stuff like layoffs.
Funner.
Fun layoff stuff. We also have we also have a channel for games where people are playing Wordle and the weekly news quiz from what it's
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg.
Pointed. The weekly
pointed
news quiz.
Those
Jesus
are the
Christ.
ones that
Last week, I somehow scored well, and I got so many. The questions were so hard. That has been my, because the thing
I haven't done this week's yet.
The pointed news quiz, you can gamble on points, and so sometimes you can come out ahead of points even though you didn't answer as many questions wrong. Each question has 10 points, but there are sliders where you can double or triple down your bet, whatever. And so, but last week I did on points okay, but the reality is, man, I had like 5 answers wrong, and a lot of the questions, I think your dad would have done really well. Like half the questions were about Africa. Gotcha. African government would. I'm like, who is the president of this country? I'm like, what the fuck do I know? Listen, let me tell you something. I have always struggled with Africa, countries, politics. I remember in high school.
Speaking of which, there was a huge massacre in Sudan this week.
Yes, that was in the news this week, which we didn't talk about.
This is something I'll fully admit I have not followed it in detail, but apparently like over 10,000 civilians killed. You'd think that would be like top of the news everywhere, but of course it's not, because that's not how things work. But
yeah.
Anyway, we have the games channel. As said, I haven't done Wordle in a long time, but a few people are sharing their Wordle.
And I screwed up a 50 game streak this week because I was so busy with work yesterday that I forgot.
I have been trying to do this news quiz the last couple weeks. I haven't done this week's yet. I'll do it later today. And then we had Nicholas, who I call him Nick. He's on the thing as Nicholas, but I know it's Nick. Nick was on here. Asking if we do pips.
And I haven't done it, but I was about to do it for the first time today.
It's another New York Times crossword no, it's a Dominoes kind of thing, right? Like Dominoes.
I don't know. I saw. I haven't looked, but
it's
saw
another
it.
New York Times game.
I know is that I was going to try it. I was planning on trying it today.
Okay, so we might be doing those and basically sharing these kinds of stuff. And then we have one channel called Show Topics, where people can suggest things for us to talk about on the show. Usually it's mostly me writing down things, occasionally Yvonne, and very occasionally somebody else, but we'd love more input there. And then I have one I haven't posted, oh God, in over a year. I have to take care of that. A show stats one where I post like charts of our listenership periodically, but it looks like I haven't posted since September 2024 in that one, so I should post an update there. Anyway, we've got a bunch of channels. Check out all of them, not just general. Tell if you've got a deposit down for your Roadster, tell us your experiences about it, and if you get a refund on it, just send it to me.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we are done. We are out of here. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another Curmudgeon. Oh, next week, Yvonne will be out.
Yes.
We've already got 2 volunteers to join us on the show. We've got Bruce and Ed that are lined up. I owe them a message saying that the time they suggested is good. The time they suggested is good. I will respond to that. But we're looking at doing like a roundtable. So the more the merrier. If you also want to join myself, Ed, and Bruce on next week's show, let me know. Let me make sure when we're recording this, because we do have a time now. When did we say? Hold on. November 6th, which is, wait a second. Where am Where am I? November 6th, which is Thursday. Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern, is when we are recording the next episode. If you would like to join myself, Ed, and Bruce, please send me a message either through to Curmudgeon's Corner Sock if you're on there, or through any of the contact mechanisms listed on curmudgeons-corner.com. Let me know. I will also still send out the usual email I send out about these things directly after this show is put out. And of course, we're doing this because Ivan will be out, because Ivan will be recuperating from his own surgery. So, Ivan, good luck on your surgery. Enjoy your surgery. Is that the right word?
Oh, thank you. Enjoy the surgery. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Listen, I was going to ask the doctor to see, hey, you're putting me under propofol, right? And I don't know if you've ever been under that sleep, but, it's
I don't remember what I was under.
Exactly. You're like done. You're out. You don't remember anything. That you wake up on the other side and it's all done. I was like, look, could I just use this until Trump is dead? Can you just send me in there and just, because I won't notice that I'm gone. It's just, look, moment Trump is dead, and you wake me up and you tell me, hey, Ivan, surgery's good, Trump is dead. Great!
There you go. Of course, he's going to do one of those, like having his mind uploaded into a robot or whatever, and he'll live for millions of years.
Oh, then we'll, at least, we can... Probably Elon Musk. I don't know. It's probably going to be like that robot that was doing the dishes this week that was making the rounds on video.
Oh,
Did you not
yes.
see that one?
Yeah, for $20,000, you can now put your deposit down on a humanoid robot that will do the chores in your house. Their goal is to have that all AI enabled, but the reality today is the AI is not up to the task. So what you would get right now if you buy this thing would be a teleoperated thing where there's somebody with VR goggles somewhere operating the robot in your house doing the cleaning.
That's so helpful. And yes, at a snail's pace, mind you. Because they were showing how this thing struggled to put like 2 cups, a fork, and like a plate inside a dishwasher, and that took 5 minutes. And by the way, when it went to close the dishwasher, it couldn't even really close the dishwasher all the way. Right. Let alone turn it on.
Right. Probably can't push the buttons to properly turn it on.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Right now, not perfected yet.
No, look, this is a technology I am anxious for. Get me one of these things that works.
Yes. Listen, if you could get me one of those that works
with a real robot, not like
not with some remote guy, with a real robot, I would be happy with it. But right now you're basically spending. It's one of those things. It's like what we get with Trump in general, which is extremely
fuck all this AI to do other stuff. Give me the AI that will actually like do all my household chores.
This is,
oh my God. Yes.
What I said is that this is the typical Trump product. Extremely expensive and very ineffective, very low on effectiveness.
Yes. I mean, I actually have confidence that eventually the technology will get there.
I do like too, but this is not it. I will say this, that if that robot was $20,000 right now, and it worked the way that you described it, I could consider
$20,000, or is it like the actual robot's $20,000?
I thought it said the price was $20,000.
Plus some sort of subscriptions, I'm sure.
But what I'm saying is that if you told me that you would sell me a robot right now for $20,000 that could help with household chores, I mean, I would think that you could probably finance it in some way, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something to consider.
Yeah.
I mean, say like I got my parents that are getting old. That would be nice for them to have a little robot at the house that could help them with their daily chores.
Of course, there are a lot of science fiction stories that start with the household robots and end badly for the humans.
To be clear, there's a movie. The best one probably with this is that I, Robot movie. Where I don't know, all of a sudden the robots, are being centrally controlled by a thing, and then they try to jail all the humans.
There have been
a lot of movies, but the one that's like a big one, like
movies, books, TV shows. My son and I preview for ahead. Like we actually just finished the Orville, which also has this theme. There's a race of humanoid robots that overthrew their masters who were mean to them, that started out as exactly this kind of household robot. And I pointed out to Alex, the ones that Elon is making, not the ones that this is, but the ones that Elon is making, his household robot things, actually look like the ones from the Orville.
That's where he got them from.
Probably. And anyway, they go and massacre all the living beings because the living beings treated them like slaves. Surprise. Anyway, we're done, Yvonne. I was trying to say goodbye. Let's say goodbye. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe. All that stuff. Goodbye.
Bye.
Say bye one more time. One more time.
Bye, bye, bye.
Okay, now I get to start my decompression, relaxing, working on shit, all that. I get to start using up all that time, right, Yvonne?
Yeah, start decompressing. Okay, go to your decompression chamber immediately.
Right, but
you have one in the house, right? It's in the garage.
But not like being thrown out of a spaceship. Not that kind of decompression.
Not well, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. I guess I kind of was thrown out of a spaceship.
Basically. Yeah.
Okay, done.